This film is a treasure I would have not discovered if I was not a Dark Souls fan. Hidetaka Miyazaki famously does the art of sealing art. He's done it with Berserk, the Cthulhu mythos, and Tolkien's Middle-earth. One thing I was not familiar with was Angel's Egg. I was initially going to review the film, but it seemed too reductive for this one. Because of its abstract nature, I'm going to basically interpret what I saw in it. The film's director, Mamoru Hoshi, claimed not to know what the film was about. So this analysis is my interpretation of the film. As always, I'll focus on the narrative rather than the art, music, etc. But might I add, the surreal art and eerie soundtrack conveyed perfectly the themes of the film I saw. Angel's Egg is set in a desolate world, populated with little hope or love. For all we know, there are people beyond the main characters. The blue fishermen seem to be more like specters than people when comparing them to the human nature of the girl and man. No animals are alive either, delineating an alternative Noah's Ark tragic scenario, especially considering the water motifs. In such a hopeless world, one would assume that people don't exist, much less children. The girl is a symbol of hope, not the egg itself, for the egg is what gives us strength to hope for something better. Clinging to an egg, she doesn't even know what's inside. She doesn't need to know what lies within, since she found it near the fossil of what looks to be an angel. For her, that is enough to take care of the egg until it hatches. The thought of something better far exceeds her curiosity to know what's inside. The girl only focuses on surviving until the egg's hatching. Avoiding dangers like the fisherman and searching for water is part of her daily routine, forever carrying the egg inside her clothes. She treats the egg as if it were part of her, protecting it, sleeping on it as birds do with their eggs. When she walks, her hands hold the egg as if she were a pregnant woman. It is undeniable that the girl had a maternal attitude towards it, protecting the future of something she probably thinks will make the world better. The man arrives to give a different perspective of the world, a less hopeful and more cut and dry one. He gives the impression that he was on a mission, carrying a makeshift sword and arriving in a sort of tank. His appearance is akin to a knight or a classical hero, later to be found as a wolf in sheep's clothing, at least for the girl. He leaves an impression that he will keep the girl safe, similarly to a knight who rescues the princess. The girl meets him, though always prioritizing her and the egg's safety. The man seems to awaken a curiosity within the girl, perhaps to be with a sane person. Although she struggles to accept his presence, for good reason, she can't help but feel curious, always looking back to see where he is. If she were simply afraid, she would have run away from him, as she did with the fisherman. The poor girl felt lonely despite having her egg, but everything comes with a price. Afraid of the world outside her shell, she lets a stranger into her life. He protects her against the mad fisherman, while she can talk to somebody other than herself and the egg. No one can blame her for doing so since she dedicated her life to protecting an egg without the warmth of another person. As soon as the girl starts trusting the man, he betrays her. For him, the need to know what the egg contains is far more important than being around the girl. He shows his interest as soon as he meets her, insisting to know more about the egg. Through gaining her trust, she shows him the angel's fossil. He acts as if it was always his goal to destroy the egg. So when the girl lets her guard down, trusting the egg's integrity to the stranger, he pierces it with his sword. The shattering of the egg may represent the girl's loss of innocence and hope. It is impossible to heal the world and trust another once more. Undeniably, the egg was her world and her life. When the anguish is too much to bear, the girl falls to her death, trying to reach the man who broke it. Death is often perceived negatively, but hope comes from the girl's death. What she sowed during life bore fruit in death, as the eggs sprout from the water. As a symbol of life and fraternity, they herald a new beginning. Perhaps for the existence of a better world, one must end the world left behind. On the other hand, the eggs could also be an ill omen, given the context from which they sprouted and the black veins that held them. Either way, after death, the girl returns to a sort of graveyard, where statues of people who look like saints or heroes also rest. She was someone who deserved to rest among legends, as she was the last person to cherish life. The film has very little dialogue and relies mostly on setting and music, and the filmmakers did a great job. It was a chilling and beautiful experience, and I highly recommend you check it out for yourself. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye! This one was short and sweet.